All right, so there's guys out there who do NoFap, and immediately they start to feel more confident, they feel more assertive, and they start to feel cleaner, for lack of a better term. But anytime they slip up, they start to feel major feelings of guilt and shame. And then they get on their streak again and they feel clean again. But then they relapse and they feel guilt, and they're in this cycle sometimes for years, 2 years, 5 years plus, right? Whereas there's other guys out there who fap literally whenever they want, and they're still winning and doing just fine in life. I'm going to talk about the difference here specifically. I'll talk about the best NoFap benefit that I've noticed, but also a huge problem with NoFap, which I feel is not talked about nearly enough. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly I was in my bathroom, right? And I was standing on top of my toilet, so I put the lid down, I was standing on top of it. And the reason I was doing that was so I could get my mouth closer to the exhaust fan so I could smoke weed, right? And after I would smoke weed, I would fap. Because for those of you who may not know, when you get high, fapping feels a lot better, right? And this was literally my life, like 3+ times a day, doing this, like fapping all day. I was fapping so much that nothing was coming out, right? This is the place I was in. So I was definitely addicted, right? And around this time was probably the worst place I was in mentally. I had extreme anxiety. I still struggle with anxiety, but at that time it was much worse, right? And same thing with insecurities. Again, I still struggle with insecurities, but at that time it was significantly worse, right? So I started looking for a solution. And that's when I came across NoFap. Right? So I tried it. And after a week, 2 weeks, my symptoms really did start to improve. I started to enjoy life more. I felt more confident, felt more assertive. I felt cleaner. But I started relapsing as well. And anytime I would relapse, I'd get caught in this cycle of like guilt, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that, and I felt so good, and I'm gonna feel terrible. My superpowers are gonna be gone. I won't be able to talk to people anymore, and I'd get caught in this cycle of guilt. Now, this leads me to the first point. The best benefit from NoFap is that you realize that you don't have to be stuck in these patterns that are no longer serving you in life, right? You don't have to fap all day. You can not do that and take that same energy and put it towards something productive, right? That's the best benefit. And one of the issues that I want to touch on before I even move any further is that people on NoFap will say, oh, you got to be perfect, bro. I'm on my 1,000-day streak, bro. Like, no, take that thought out the window. We don't listen to those people. They're putting a train of thought on us that's not going to serve us whatsoever. Look, first of all, these people on 1,000-day streaks, frankly, I just don't believe them, right? You went 1,000 days without masturbation and sex. Like, yeah, okay. But let's assume for a second it's true, right? Let's assume for a second it's true. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I know for a fact that 99.9% of guys can't live their life that way, right? And you see this all the time. If you go on any Reddit, NoFap subreddit, if you go on the self-improvement subreddit, or if you go on any other forum for that matter, right, which talks about similar things, you'll see posts all the time of guys saying, oh, I just relapsed and I feel so much guilt and I can't believe I did it. And this is literally like 90% of the post there, right? So again, maybe some people are able to do it. Even those people, again, I don't really believe too much, but I know for a fact that 99.9% of guys can't really go on like 1,000-day streaks, right? Now, the next thing I want to touch on is I remember I was going to the gym and I just fapped before I went to the gym, right? So as I'm walking to the gym, in my head, I'm feeling so much guilt. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I fapped and I won't be able to talk to people or look at people in the eye. And I got to promise myself I'll never do this again. And this is how I was thinking, right? And this leads me to the next point. Look, I've been on the self-improvement shit for 5+ years at this point. And I can't even tell you how much progress I've lost because I've relied on superpowers as a crutch. What I mean by that is, say I had something difficult or something that would cause me anxiety, something like that I had to do later, whether it was like going on a date or going to the gym, going to my boxing gym, giving a presentation, whatever it may be. I would put it off because I'd be like, oh, I just fapped and now my superpowers are gone. Oh, I can't do this anymore. And it wasn't just that the day I fapped was ruined. The next day I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to feel as much energy because I fapped. And then literally the next 3 or 4 days would be ruined. Right. And maybe 3 or 4 days after I'd relapse again. So then it's like, now the next 8 days are ruined. Right. And this was my life. And this leads me to one point that I want to touch on. Whatever is that hard thing that you're putting off, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. Trust me, it's not the lack of superpowers that are causing you to not do that thing. It's just that anxiety and all that stuff that comes up that you're running away from. And at least in my case, it was my extreme judgment of myself. That's where these guilt cycles came from as well, right? Where, say, I gave a public presentation, I'd be like, oh, did I make enough eye contact? And oh my God, did I speak loud enough? Did people think I was alpha enough? Like, you get what I'm saying? So obviously I didn't want to put myself in that situation, because I knew the aftermath of it would be, if I didn't hit every single checkpoint that I had put in my head, I'd start judging myself and talking to myself all negatively. And of course I wasn't looking forward to it then, right? So there's a few things I want to say here. One, just fucking do the thing. But B, throw all this guilt and perfection shit way out the window, right? Way out the window, right? Look, it's just human experience. When you start something and you're new at it, you're going to suck. Whether it's dating, whether it's fighting, whether it's public speaking, whatever it may be, right? You're going to suck majorly at the start. Maybe you go on your first day and you're like literally shaking. I've had days where I've literally been shaking from anxiety. Like, I'm not kidding. I couldn't control my body. It wouldn't stop shaking, right? So I've had these experiences. That's why I'm telling you, this will, not necessarily this will happen. Of course, we're all different, but this is something that could happen, right? This is something that could happen. And you're going to, again, whatever that thing is, you're going to suck majorly at it at the start. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to suck a little less. You're going to suck a little less. And eventually you'll get good, right? So don't put off that thing any further. The amount of times I put off things that would improve my life because, oh, I don't have my superpowers. No. Again, it's not your lack of superpowers. And at least in my case, it was all the anxiety and stuff that was building up from my constant judgment of myself. So throw all that shit out the window and learn to love yourself, right? When I was starting my self-improvement stuff, I heard about loving yourself, and I was like, oh, this is like some new age, wishy-washy, positive thinking type of stuff. So I put it to the side, and I would focus just on like the grinding, work hard, and I did that. Now I'm in great shape. I make a lot more money. Like, I started off broke. Now I make six figures. Started off in bad shape. I have a six-pack, right? And despite these things, I was still constantly approval seeking from other people. I still had all the anxiety. I still had all the things that I'm talking about, right? I didn't really feel that much different. And that's when I came to the realization that loving yourself and all that stuff really is true. It's the real deal, right? This constant judgment of yourself and borderline hating yourself really does hurt a lot more than it helps, right? It really does. And one important point that I want to get across here, this loving yourself stuff, it's not all like positive, wishy-washy, being like fake nice or something like this. Because that's how it came off to me a little bit as well, which is why I think I was repelled from it. But it's also about just expressing yourself truly, which can sometimes be some of the more negative emotions, for lack of a better term. What I mean by that is, if someone oversteps a boundary with you, if you love yourself, you're going to tell them like, hey, you can't do that, right? And you may be starting, again, it's like even conflict situations. That's something I'm not saying I'm great at right now. It's something I'm working through as well. Conflict situations make me nervous, right? But I'm working through that. But if you love yourself, even if you're studying your words, as you say, you're going to be like, hey, don't do that, right? That's the difference between loving yourself and not. If you don't love yourself, maybe you just laugh it off like, oh, okay, that was nothing. But if you love yourself, you're like, no, I'm going to stand up for myself, even if I'm stuttering, sweating with every single word that comes out of my mouth. So people are laughing because I'm stuttering. Doesn't matter. I'm going to express myself, right? Because I have respect for myself and I love myself, right? That's what it is. And part of the issue here is how overcomplicated all this stuff has become in the self-improvement community, right? Where people are like, oh, you got to have the perfect alpha body language and the alpha vocalization, and you got to do this and you got to do that. Like, no, take that thought, throw it way out the window. We don't listen to those people. They're putting trains of thoughts on us that are not going to serve us whatsoever, right? Whatsoever. Look, if you want to improve your dating life, right? You don't need to read 20 books on it and then buy 10 courses on it. Just go out and fucking do it. Right? Go out on dates, talk to people. Yes, maybe on your first date, you'll be literally shaking, right? Because you're so nervous. But slowly but surely, you will get better, right? It's about that action. You keep on putting yourself out there. You keep on doing the thing that you're so scared to do. You will get better. You will improve. And that's all there is to it. Now, I just want to end this video off by saying, be kind to yourself throughout this process and truly throw all this guilt, perfection, all that stuff out the window. And learn to love yourself, right? I remember my background, right? As I got into self-improvement, again, I was like jerking off all the time and smoking weed, all these things, right? And then I turned away from that. I got on NoFap, and while I've done decently well in my journey so far, I started it from a place of deep, deep, deep insecurity, right? I had extreme anxiety, extreme insecurities, right? And my dating life was absolute garbage. And that's actually what kicked off my self improvement journey, right? And now I'm in a better place. I'm still working through things, right? So I'm not trying to say I'm perfect. I'm still working through things, but I'm in a better place. But I remember throughout my journey how negative I was to myself, right? To myself especially, how judgmental I was of myself, and how I'd make so many things big deals that weren't big deals. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that, and then and like I start getting caught in these negative thought cycles over and over and over again. And again, not putting myself out there over and over and over again because oh, the superpowers aren't here, or some other crutch or some other nonsense, right? So trust me, again, throw all the perfection stuff out the window. Keep on putting yourself out there. Keep on showing up, and be proud of yourself every single day that you show up, right? Be proud of yourself every single day you show up. As long as you're showing up, I can say confidently, you will improve and you will achieve the goal you set out to achieve. Okay, hard work always pays off. And that's that. And I just want you to imagine for a second. Imagine you take this advice, you run with it, and your dating life is improving day by day by day, right? Your social life has improved greatly. You've picked up a skill. Maybe it was fighting, right? You started to show up no matter how much anxiety you felt, no matter how much, your body and brain were telling you, oh, no, I can't go to boxing today. I can't, whatever. You still showed up. You still showed up, right? And yeah, you sucked the first few times. You got your ass kicked a bunch of times. But now you're a great fighter, and anytime a conflict situation comes up, you stand there, right? You stand there confidently, ready to take on and handle the situation, right? And most importantly, your confidence and self-esteem in yourself is improving day by day by day to where you no longer rely on others for, self-esteem or, to fulfill yourself, right? You can stand on your own. You can stand on your values, stand by your values, and you can draw confidence and self-esteem from within, right? Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Hey, keep working hard. I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok in the description, also somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.